Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Real Estate with Mary. In today's video, live, Facebook Live, we will be discussing the top questions buyers have when considering buying a home. So we are live today, exciting, and encourage everyone that is tuning in to write your questions and comments, and we'll be answering those questions. But before we begin, I would like to introduce to you all our guest today. Here, our guest is one of the most knowledgeable, hardworking, and reliable lenders in the industry. He was born in Harbor City, California, and raised in Lakewood, where he graduated from Artesia High School and attended Cal State Fullerton and Cal State Los Angeles. At the age of 23, late in college already, he made the decision to pursue what no one believed that he would succeed in, mortgage lending. Despite not having the support of his family and friends, he channeled all his time and energy to, educating himself and earning the trust of every client that he met with. So through many years of hard work and sacrifices, now Tom has a wonderful business where he is a branch manager under Fairway Independent Mortgage for two branches, one in Temecula and another one in Cerritos. So it is with great pleasure. Well, not only that, one thing I almost forgot, you have time to even host a radio show. It's called Mortgage Madness, every Saturday morning on AM 590. For the last 5 years, he's been doing that. So it is with great pleasure that I would like to introduce to you our great friend and partner, business partner, Tom Santos. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks for having us, you guys.
Yes. Well, it is really nice. Thank you for, driving down here from Temecula.
No problem.
And we'd love to have you here. So, we would like to start, Tom, asking you a few questions about the process. And a lot of buyers think that it's an easy, some normally think that it's a very hard process. So what do you think? Is this an easy process to get in pre-approved?
Well, first let me start by saying thanks for having us today. I really like educating the public and making sure that consumers have a full understanding of the process. But to answer Mary's question in a snapshot, it's as easy as a consumer wants it to be. There's a convergence in the industry to push towards automated pre-approvals. So you put your information in, the computer spits out an approval. Or you have the traditional way where you apply, we run credit, and then we take a look at your financials to make sure there's no pitfalls 21 days down the road. So it's an easy process. It can be more lengthy if you want to get all the questions out in regards to getting the financials up front. But we can do it either way. We can do the automated system or we can do the financials. Most people want the financial aspect so that way they don't have any issues 21, 25 days down the road. But it is a simple process. Don't get scared. There is a negative connotation out there, but we're here to help you.
Great. Well, thank you. Also, another question. I would like to know a little bit more about the myth of, getting pre-qualified or pre-approved. Can you tell us a little bit about the differences?
Well, that goes hand in hand with the prior question in some regards, because the old way of doing business was a pre-qualification. So we talk with you over the phone, you give us a verbal, we run your credit, and then you give us a snapshot of what your financial picture is. And from there we give you a guesstimation, I guess to say at best, of what we can do. We issue a pre-qual letter. That's pre-2008 lending in some respects, because it's really not worth the paper that it's written on. All it's stating is that we've run the credit. So that's the pre-qual over here. The pre-approval is where you're actually going to apply. We're going to run the credit. You're going to provide financials. We're going to vet the financials. We're going to do the income calculation. And we're going to give you basically a breakdown of, based on this guideline in this program, you can do this. Based on this guideline in this program, you can do this. And it really takes the question mark out of lending. So you have pre-qualification and pre-approval. Post 2008, we're mainly doing pre-approvals.
Great. And yes, definitely. We want to have a pre-approval because that way we know we're ready to go.
Well, and one thing, let me just interject, sorry about that. Most listing agents only want pre-approval. They want to know that you've actually run the gamut. Pre-qual, if they find out you did a pre-qual, a lot of times your offer, and Mary can speak to this, a lot of times your offer slides to the bottom of the stack.
Correct. Yes. That's why all my clients, we get a pre-approval before we go out there and look at houses. So great. Thank you for that. Also, quickly, what does a person need to get pre-approved?
Well, typically what we'll do is we'll do either a phone application, an online application, or a mobile application with our newest mobile technology that we've had for about a year now, where you can apply right from your iPhone or your Android. We'll run credit. From there, based on the credit and the government's approval, we will send you an exact itemization of what we need. Some lenders will say just send us 2 years tax returns, 2 years W-2s. We customize it to whatever that approval is. A lot of times it'll be a month pay stub and last year's W-2, 2 months bank statements. If you have a complicated scenario, a month pay stubs, 2 years W-2, 2 years tax return, 2 months bank statements. A lot of people leave the bank statements out. The bank statements are important because with a lot of offers, the seller wants, what do you call it?
Proof of funds.
Proof of funds. So it's important that we get the pay stubs, the W-2. If we need the tax returns, we'll ask for it in the bank statements. But it's real minimized. I've got clients that all we ask for is a pay stub. If they're a pretty straightforward salaried position, we can get away with a pay stub and bank statements at that point.
Great, thank you. Yes, it's very important to have all your documentation in so we can have that very concise pre-approved letter. So we have a question here coming in from Noemi Rodriguez from Riverside. How long I have to be at a job to qualify for a loan?
Well, typically you need to be on your job for 2 years or in the same line of work for 2 years. With millennials just coming out of college, you've been on your job for a year. If you've been on your job for 6 months or a year, and we can tie it to your academic history at college or your diploma, then we can go less than 2 years. But typically, rule of thumb is 2 years or 2 years in the same line of work.
Okay. I also have a question we got last week from Adrian Torres from Vegas. If I am a first-time home buyer, how much money should I have before even considering buying a home?
Well, we have clients that buy with no money down. We have clients that buy with $1,200 down. That's one of the fortes that I pride myself in 25 years of doing this. I've been involved with Cal HFA, it used to be known as CHAFA, with the down payment assistance. So what we typically like to do is have the consumer apply, and then we can lay out the exact options that are needed. But to answer this question, in some cases you don't need any money. If you want to put a down payment down, then theoretically you would need to save that up. But we start the hierarchy or the funnel with down payment assistance products, 3 or 3.5% down, and then we kind of go down the funnel and we'll lay out a presentation to you comparing 3 or 4 programs next to it, but starting with the down payment assistance. So to answer your question, I've got clients closing with no money.
Great. So yeah, there's a lot of programs out there that can help our clients come in with no money down.
Yeah.
And again, but they have to qualify for this program. So that's one thing that, I like to always clarify to my clients.
Yeah.
Is they say, oh, my cousin got in with no money down. Now, maybe your cousin qualified for it, but you may not. So that's why you need to meet with a lender and be able to get that information.
If your credit score is above 640, you're a first-time home buyer and you haven't owned in the past 3 years, and your income's under $128,000 in Riverside County, you don't really need much money to buy a house at this point. Again, each case is different, but I wouldn't fret, because if you apply and you decide you want to save a down payment, then once you apply, there's no upfront cost, there's no hidden cost. It doesn't harm you to apply to see what you can qualify for with the assistance. But again,
that's great.
First-time home buyer, haven't owned in 3 years, 640 credit score or greater, and $128,000 or less in income, we can get you in for, in some cases, as little as no money or $1,200 down.
That's great. Really good news for our buyers out there. So I have also another question from Raul Avila from El Monte. Asks, would a VA loan be best for military first-time home buyers?
Well, VA, in my opinion, is the best loan in the marketplace.
Right.
By far. It used to be a little watered down, but based on all the new changes and everything the last 6 or 7, 8 years, no money down, no 100% financing, aggressive interest rates, and no mortgage insurance like a typical civilian would pay mortgage insurance. The VA doesn't have a mortgage insurance premium, so therefore most vets wind up getting $200-300, or active duty $200 or $300 less on their mortgage payment. So if you are a vet or have access to that entitlement, being that you're active duty, then yes, by far the VA. And again, with VA, you can't use somebody else's entitlement. Either needs to be the vet or active duty and the spouse.
Great. Well, there you go for all my fellow vets out there. So let's see. We have a question also. This is for me. It says from Adriana Caseros, asks, how much do I have to pay as a buyer to a realtor? So as a buyer, you don't have to pay us anything to help us find your home. So, you don't have to pay a realtor. All the commissions and fees come from the seller's proceeds. So let's see. Let's check another question from Chris Martinez from Paris. It says, how do I know which loan is the best for me?
So again, that goes back to taking an accurate application, running credit, obtaining the financials, so that way we can make sure that you're not overqualifying or underqualifying. And then from there, we have a system called Mortgage Coach. It's a detailed analysis that'll let me take up to 4 programs and create 4 columns, and it'll put them next to each other. Down payment assistance, all in, down payment assistance with just the down payment, FHA, conventional. It gives a blended rate. It gives a rent to own. It gives a owning savings with taxes. Usually when we put that 6-page report together for you as a consumer and lay out funds to close, monthly payment, tax benefit for each one, the numbers don't lie. The numbers usually make the decision for you guys. Some people have more of a hot button, we call it, which is hot button on payment. Some people have hot button on out of pocket. I think the main thing right now, or the biggest impediment in the marketplace, is 52% of the people who don't own a house right now. The reason why they don't is because of a lack of a down payment. So when you look at that, it really comes down to the individual situation. But when we lay out those 4 options, the numbers don't lie. You usually will find something that works for you within those numbers.
Well, great. And one question that I have here from Antonio Rodriguez is, what is it says, where does my credit score need to be in order for me to qualify for a loan? What is the highest score, or I would say the lowest score that you would need to buy? We'll
go 580 VA, 600 FHA, 600 conventional, 640 down payment assistance. So I know there's some lenders out there that say they'll do less than 600 FHA or conventional, mainly FHA. But that's a difficult one because there's a caveat that they throw in there, which is if you're under 600, we'll do it, but you can't have had any type of late payment in the last 24 months. And most people that sit under 600, they've had some sort of late in the last 24 months. So you prepare yourself as a vet, 580 or higher, which we will make exceptions sometimes to that for vets because we're very pro-military. But normal civilian 600 credit score or higher. And really, once you fall below 600 anyways, with a lot of those institutions, the rate's so bad that you really want to stick at that 600 credit score.
Great. So as you see, if you have a 600 credit score, you can buy a home. So don't wait. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. My number is 951-256-6996. And Tom, your number?
951-312-6234. And if you want to tune in weekly, mortgagemadnessradio.com. There's a blog every week that we give about a half hour of information on.
Great. Well, this concludes our live show for today. I hope you guys learn a lot from here and that it answered many of your questions. So again, don't forget our show, Real Estate with Mary, coming to you every other week. And please share, subscribe, or like our YouTube channel. And I'll see you again on my next show. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.